Hi. Hi, this is Dr. Venugopal presenting you a blip. Blip means brief lecture in physiology, not what you see in Marvel movies. Today's topic for my blip is corticospinal tract so that you can revise your essay question with shorter time. So that is the purpose I am releasing this blip. So let us see some slides on the blip. So topic is pyramidal tract as you know. The objectives are to recollect it and to revise the origin, course, termination and few applied aspects of the corticospinal tract or pyramidal tract. So to introduce, we have many pathways which are descending from the brain to the spinal cord, and so that they can control the motor component, that is a muscle. But transmission of signals from the motor cortex to the muscle, which is going uninterrupted non-stop in the pyramidal tract or corticospinal tract up to spinal cord. Then there are many other pathways which are indirectly passing through cerebellum, basal ganglia and brainstem nuclei, then going downward. So the indirect pathways. Now the topic of discussion is corticospinal tract, which is direct non-stop pathway from the brain to the spinal cord. Let us see some of the points in terms of the function of the corticospinal tract. So it provides central control of initiating any movement, either finger movement or the hand movement or any muscle movement in the body. Initiating the motor movement or command, we need pyramidal tract. Then it is also important to maintain the tone, myotic reflexes and cutaneous reflexes. One applied point here is the pyramidal tract. It will take 2 to 3 years after birth to make the myelination complete. So that is the reason why in children below 2 years the Babinski's reflex is positive, because the myelination is not complete by 3 years. Then if you take the first part of the essay question, origin, then we'll go the course of the pyramidal tract, then we'll see the termination, then finally applied. First we start with the origin. You can see this on the screens. So it's 30% of the fibers out of 1 million fibers in each side the tract carries. The 30% of the fibers are originating from the primary motor cortex, then 30% from the premotor and supplementary motor areas together, and 40% interestingly contributed by the somatosensory cortex. Then I said the 70% myelinated, 70% fibers are myelinated in the tract out of 1 million, and 3% of the fibers are originating from giant pyramidal cells, which are known as bed cells. That is the reason why the name pyramidal tract. The one other reason is they go down in the pathway and they form pyramids in the medulla oblongata. Then they decussate to the other side. That is what we are going to see in the flow chart. You can see this is the picture from Guyton. On the top right hand side, you can see the motor cortex. I'm not depicting premotor areas and supplementary motor areas and somatosensory cortex here. Motor cortex as a single unit. Then it is all the fibers are converging towards the posterior limb of ventral capsule, that is narrowest area. This converging fibers are together known as corona radiata. Then we have various parts of the brainstem. I'm not going into detail now because you know bit of anatomy also. Then I will concentrate on the medulla oblongata and downwards. We'll see that also. As I said, this is the non-stop pathway without any interruption, without any synapse in between. So this is the flowchart I have created out of my knowledge on this topic, so that these flowcharts will be useful to maintain the time in the exam, so that you can easily draw these flowcharts and gain the full marks by impressing the examiners. So you can see on the top right hand side, you can see primary motor 30%, premotor and supplementary areas 30%, somatosensory cortex 40%. Then all are diverging through corona radiata to the posterior limb of the internal capsule, that is the narrowest part between the caudate nucleus and putamen of the basal ganglia. Then the brainstem. If you go downward a bit, that is pyramids which are in the medulla oblongata. Then 90% of the fibers will decussate to the opposite side, then forming the lateral corticospinal tract. The other 10 to 15% of fibers which are not decussating will go downward as ventral corticospinal tract. Eventually, the author says that the other fibers will also cross at the level below the pyramids or medulla oblongata. But some fibers will terminate directly onto the lower motor neuron on that side. But majority will go to the lateral corticospinal tract on the opposite side. Then if you can see the box on the lower part here, I will show here. The 55% of the fibers are terminating the cervical part of the spinal cord, 20% of the fibers are terminating in the thoracic part of the thoracic segment of the spinal cord, and 25% are in the lumbosacral area. If you see the termination in detail, one more slide. Most fibers terminate in the intermediate gray, that is lamina 4 to lamina 7, and they also terminate in the interneurons and sensory neurons. But few fibers will terminate on the motor neurons directly in the lamina 12. Motor neuron means that is alpha motor neuron or the lower motor neuron. Anything above this level is upper motor neuron. So that I will take a different video, the difference between upper motor neuron lesion and lower motor neuron lesion. Now we'll take the applied aspect here. Applied aspect here is corticospinal tract lesion, that is hemiplegia. So this can be due to three possibilities. One is stroke, which is scientifically known as cerebrovascular accident, CVA simply. Then tumor compressing this pathway, trauma causing damage, disruption to the pathway, resulting in upper motor neuron disease. Okay, this is all. The lesion happening either in the motor cortex, central capsule, and above the level of medulla oblongata. So that you will get the paralysis on the opposite side of the body. That is what is hemiplegia. That is contralateral part of the body is involved. Then one more slide to complete our discussion rapidly. So pyramidal tract lesion or CS lesion results in PT syndrome or hemiplegia, both are same, with spastic paralysis. Spastic means the tone is increased. So the cause can be due to damage to the non-pyramidal pathways or non-pyramidal part of the motor cortex, because in stroke it is not only the pyramidal tract fibers involved, the extensive areas of the brain involved, so that the inhibitory fibers which are coming down and inhibiting the brainstem vestibular and reticular nuclei is gone. So when that inhibition is gone, the brainstem vestibular as well as reticular nuclei will become unstoppable, and they can directly activate the muscles continuously, so that the tone is increased. Then augmented deep and tender reflexes, which that means the either biceps reflex or the knee jerk is augmented, the reflex activity is much more. And last point is loss of abdominal reflex and cremasteric reflex. Interestingly, one more superficial reflex is Babinski's plantar reflex is Babinski's positive is observed in upper motor neuron lesion and sleep in adults as well as the children below 3 years because of the incomplete myelination of the pyramidal tract. So that if you like this kind of revisions and if you want much more videos to be released on the CNS, you can subscribe so that you can revise your topics very fast, which is useful for your exams.